Everybody's favorite season is here, parade season. We all love parade season, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hear the sarcasm? Yeah, the worst season of politics is upon us. It's parade season. But parades can be useful if you do them right. So we're going to talk parades and how you and your organization can utilize parades to its maximum benefit for our party and for your candidates. I've got with me our operations team lead, Ryan Kilduff, who runs the back end for a lot of our campaigns and can tell us a lot of the nuts and bolts of what you do with campaigns. So Ryan, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
One of our political experts, Chris Jackowiak, who has walked in. How many parades have you walked in?
Too many, Collin.
Too many parades. Walked in way too many parades. He's probably got more on the docket coming up. Thanks for being here, Chris.
Oh, thanks for having me, Collin.
They're going to share some thoughts of, on the ground, what you do to make the most of a parade. Let's talk basics, because we're going into parade season, 4th of July parades all over the place. What's an organization need to do to make sure they have a presence in a parade like that, Ryan?
Well, it's all about planning, in my opinion, because there's parades all throughout the year, from St. Patrick's Day to Labor Day, and a few in between and probably afterward. But you can't walk in them all, and usually the registration form is months prior. So if you're not ready or prepared, you're just not going to be able to walk in it.
So it's an obvious answer, but get registered. Get in that parade. A lot of times, organizations and candidates, I know this is an off year, but typically organizations and candidates, maybe you've got some local elected officials who want to walk, they'll usually pair together. That way you make sure you have a good group of walkers, right? Because you know, one of the things that I think is the worst thing in parades is you walk with like 3 people, right? I mean, doesn't that make you look bad, Chris?
No, and one thing if you're going to do a parade, you're going to need to have a good presence. You don't want to be walking downtown Main Street with 2 people holding yard signs that say vote Republican. That's not going to do it. You need to pull out all the stops. If you're doing a parade, you got to get the precinct committee men. You got to get the volunteers. You got to get your kids, get your family members. Have a good showing. Bring them out to a parade. And a parade's an easy thing to invite a new volunteer to because you're not telling them to knock on a door. You're not telling them to make phone calls. Hey, show up to a parade, pass some stuff out. That's a good entry point for any new people coming into the party.
I think that's a great point. I mean, ultimately, we kind of fail sometimes with that with volunteer recruitment. We're like, hey, do you want to volunteer for the party? Okay, go do the hardest and worst thing for all weekend. Like, who wants to do that? But come out for a parade, that's an easy ask. I like that. Okay, so let's talk about the parade itself. Each parade's different, but what do you want to make sure you have with you at the parade? What do you want to make sure you do at the parade? We're going to cover a lot of topics in this subject. There's no real good order, but what's the first thing that comes to your mind, Ryan?
Well, obviously you need people, and everybody wants to have a banner. I love to do 5x3 banners because you can stick the PVC right in there. And you want something to hand out. Everybody's different. Some people may want candy, some people may want a different tchotchke, but something to have fun with the crowd.
Let's cover some of those topics. So first, banner. Any thoughts on good ways to do a banner, bad ways to do a banner?
You don't want to go all out with a banner. I've seen people who buy 3, 4 banners for their parade. They have 2 people at different parts of their float holding a banner. If you have one big banner, people are going to see it. You're going to have enough just the one banner. There's no need to go overboard with multiple banners leading the front and back of a parade.
Or one that's 12 foot long and is actually like a 4-lane highway that you can get in there.
And it's flying
and it's
away
just bending
on
in
a
the
windy
middle.
day. Yeah, you don't want anything like that. You got to keep it simple.
I mean, obviously, there's different ways those banners can be done, but usually we do top pocket with just a pipe through it, right?
Correct, yeah, simple as that. You get a PVC, it stays straight.
I've seen people try to do where they just hold the 4 corners, but then it sags, it looks bad. So just get the pocket, run something through the top of it, it holds it nice and firm, it makes it look nice all the way through the parade.
Sometimes people like the grommets in the corners just to keep things straight on the sides, keep it pinned, but other than that, you don't need anything
But
fancy.
don't just do the grommets, because that's where everything
sure.
sags and looks bad. Okay, you mentioned candy. Any do's and don'ts on candy?
Try and have it to be a candy where everybody can enjoy. Try and avoid peanut butter or anything like that. I'm a big fan of Dum Dum Suckers because who doesn't like Dum Dum Suckers? And you can grab a big handful and throw them up in the air and have it hit little kids in the head. Don't do that, but I think that's an easy thing. Everybody likes Dum Dum Suckers. They're cheap. You can get them in bulk and they get the job done.
I mean, I remember actually there's a parade by us that has a rule that you're not allowed to throw the candy because apparently one year people were chucking the candy out, like kids were chucking them at people in the crowd. So they actually made a rule where you couldn't throw it. You had to like kind of drop it on the ground in front of them, which I thought ruins the whole fun of parades. It's like D-Day, right? You're on the Normandy beach and you're trying to see who you can hit with those things. That's the whole point of parades, isn't it?
I don't know if that's the whole point of parades, Collin, but I do understand the concern. I've had one candidate who used to do a big windmill in front of like a good big crowd of people, and then they would like 100 Dum Dum Suckers would go in the air and it'd be like hail upon the crowd.
So maybe don't do that. That's why they don't let me in parades. But I like the idea of being being smart with your candy, something people like. I mean, ultimately, you think back to these different parades. I know the candidates who had like the Werther's candies or the really, really cheap candies that are gross, that are basically like chewing on bone meal. Like, nobody wants those. Right? And so you want something that kids are going to actually enjoy, that families are going to eat. So don't go cheap on the candy. Spend $3 extra to get the nicer stuff, because people are going to remember that. And you're trying to give a good impression, not a bad impression. So I like that.
And don't forget to buy a lot, because you could easily run out in the first half mile.
Does any parade, do you ever not run out in the parade?
But you want to run out at the end, not at the beginning.
But I think every time I've seen people, like, they buy an extra bag and they still run out halfway through.
You don't want to be the jamokes like halfway through the parade route. They've resorted to waving at people when all the kids are like candy, 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 candy. You don't want to be that guy. Get candy in bulk. Heck, grab enough for an entire parade season so that you never run out of candy.
Well, I think that's the point. You're an organization. You're going to be around a year from now. So buy extra candy. If you don't use it now, it will be fine for the next parade. So it's better to have extra than to run out. You're not a campaign where that extra $3 might go to waste because you might not win. Just get it and be ready for the next season. One other thing on candy, be careful about Memorial Day parades, or even if you have a Veterans Day parade. Those are typically more somber. Sometimes they don't. The candy's not appropriate. Then maybe you want to use flags as giveaways or something else like that. But be careful for some of those parades when it comes to candy. Sometimes they're more somber, and you don't want to be that idiot who's going, "Yay, people died, let me give you some candy." So be a little careful about what type of parade you're walking in, right?
No, I would agree with that comment.
I mean, St. Patrick's Day parade, maybe give out beer. Everyone will love you for that.
I don't think you can do that, but what I have seen people do is they give out beer koozies with the campaign logo on it or the organization logo on it. That might be a little bit expensive, but everybody on St. Patrick's Day is going to be using it because Lord knows, unless you're on the South Side Parade, all the bars are going to be packed and all the people are going to be drinking on the side of the parade route.
I mean, that's the thing to talk about. We have seen, and Ryan could spend a whole video talking about the dumb things that some of our candidates and organizations have spent money on. Maybe we will do that because that'd be a little bit fun.
Fans.
Yeah, some of the worst things, some of the worst ideas that people have done. But sometimes an investment makes a little sense. I mean, it's something that people will keep. There's some value to spending a few extra bucks. What are some of the things you guys have seen that actually have where you spend a little more, but people will keep it, and now your logo's in front of them, your brand's in front of them regularly? Ryan, what's something you've seen that's worked?
I mean, the first thing on my mind is still the bag. Some sort of bag, whether it be a plastic bag or like a canvas bag, where people can hold stuff that they get at the parade. That's not just for the parade. They may keep it and use it with the grocery store or anything in between. That comes in handy.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned that, Ryan, because I was in Bridgeport one day and I saw a lady sitting at a bus stop and she had a bag carrying her groceries from a campaign that I had worked on.
Nice.
So, and this was years after the fact I worked on that campaign and the person was out of office, but the bag still survived to that day.
Nice.
I'll use the bag at the grocery store and you'll keep using it, but that t-shirt becomes your lawn mowing shirt. That's about it. It doesn't leave the house.
Yeah, I mean, shirts are fine, especially your volunteers are going to want them, so you're going to have some shirts, but I always love the bag idea. I mean, I've been using this for a decade and a half. We've been using it for our campaigns and our organizations. What we would do is get bags printed up with the logo on it, and then we'd have volunteers start at the back and work their way to the front, giving it out to all the kids, so that everybody who as you're going along, everyone's candy is going in your bag, which ends up, especially for like an organization or a campaign, it drives your opposition crazy because they're putting their candy in your bag with your Republican logo on it. It's awesome, and everyone will take it because no one comes to a parade prepared. Nobody comes with bags to put the candy in. I don't know why. You know you're going to get a bunch of candy, yet no one comes with bags. So if you start a half hour before or 15 minutes before, and you work all the way backwards through the parade route, and then you jump in and you walk, those people will walk with you going through. Now everyone has your bags. If you do it just as you're going, depending on where you are in the lineup, I don't know how useful that's going to be. So you want to prep everybody ahead with those bags. Then it's really powerful.
No, I would agree. Start from the back, go forward, and people actually will see what you're giving out.
And then it'll sit at the very minimum, it'll sit on the counter until all that candy's gone, and you just got all that free branding.
And Lord knows the candy doesn't last.
Speaking of branding, I mean, obviously you want your logo on it, right? But think of the call to action. Do you want your URL on there? Do you want when your monthly meeting is? Something to make people feel welcome to actually participate in what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, so maybe not just the logo, especially a bag. There's space to do more than just the logo. So think of some sort of call to action, what you want people to do. It could be go vote. It could be go to our website. It could be show up to a meeting. It could be join our email list or text us to join the organization. Yeah, don't waste that space. I like that. Anything else you've seen that have been useful giveaways? Maybe something that surprised you?
Well, like I said, I dropped the beer koozies. Thought that was a great idea. I've seen bottle openers done before. Those are a little bit more expensive, but the same concept of beer koozie, something that you're always going to be using, especially on a day like St. Patrick's Day or 4th of July, one of those big alcohol drinking holidays. You want to give out something that people can use. But yeah, just be useful. I think that's the best way we could say it, is to be useful with what you're giving out. Candy works, but if you're giving out a tchotchke, then make sure it's something that people will not only use that day, but for years to come, they'll remember you.
Yeah, great point. Anything else you've seen that works really well?
I mean, you already mentioned flags, but I mean, a lot of parades are patriotic, so flags are better than candy in some ways.
People love those little flags, and they're surprisingly inexpensive. You get those little flags, you get bunches of them. They line up for that more than line up for the candy. And it's very on brand for Republicans to be giving out flags. Last thing I'll add that was surprising to me, and I always make fun of this, are those little emery boards, the little nail files. Like, I used to make fun of them, and then I was in a parade one time with a candidate, and I was making fun of them during the whole lead up to the parade. And I gotta tell you, people were running blocks to try to get one of those things. There was a group of people who ran like 2 blocks to catch up to this candidate's float, just to get themselves some of those emery boards. I don't know why they're so popular, but this candidate was right. I'm never going to use his name and give him credit, but he was right that people love those emery boards. I don't know why, and apparently they're pretty cheap. So it's something worth thinking about.
I still have one of those that I use.
See, there you go. Chris's beautiful nails. You want to show off your beautiful nails?
No, they're not that good.
Turn into a hand model on this video today.
Right. Okay, so that's giveaways. Let's talk about how you operate during the parade. What should people be doing during the parade? What should they be saying during the parade? Any thoughts on that? Any do's and don'ts on sort of how you act and operate during the parade?
Carry yourself with dignity. You don't want to be one of those guys whose group gets drunk before a St. Patrick's Day parade and you're sloppy throughout the parade route. Certainly do not do that. When you're walking through the parade route, make sure if the holidays say Happy 4th of July, Happy St. Patrick's Day, something like that, be happy, be smiling. If you're walking with candidates, tell them to vote for a certain candidate. See if you can get that candidate's name to ring out in people's ears after the parade, something like that. Just smile, wave at people, and just have an overall friendly and look like you're having fun. Look like you're having fun. It's a parade. It's supposed to be a little bit of fun.
That's the key to success, is have fun. Be personable. And the reality is you want the people that see you to feel comfortable coming to get involved or feel good about the Republican Party. Yeah. We're there to show our strength. There's different ways to walk in a parade, but the reality is you want a team of people in a certain way. The first is introduce yourself. The second's with your banner or your candy. The people behind there waving. They're not and shaking hands, not just sitting in the car waving at everybody, because that's not personal. And then the people at the end, maybe that's the people that, here's more information if they want to get involved, or here's the good tchotchke because they're obviously super engaged. You want to make sure you're actually working it, but you're having fun at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the whole point of this parade is raise awareness and get people to feel positive feelings towards your organization, towards the Republican Party. So if you're just walking, you're stoic, maybe giving a lame wave, that's not going to accomplish that. You want to be engaging. I've seen people have little megaphones, and they're talking out to the crowd. Don't be saying crazy things. This isn't your chance to yell, Donald Trump is the greatest, or J.B. Pritzker's a Nazi, or anything like that. Don't be controversial with this. It's about giving good vibes, good feelings. Talk about the community. I mean, I've seen some of the best opportunities are to show you care about the community. Talk about, we love our hometown. They say the name of the county or the town or the community. Talk about different events going on. Talk about how we love, if you have a local football team that's really good, or a hockey team or something. I don't know. Just talk about the community. Show you're invested. Show you care. Smile. Have some fun. If it's the 4th of July parade, say positive, patriotic things. This is a chance to engage with the community and show that we're normal human beings. We're not the caricature that the left likes to make of us. This is your chance to talk to the community and let them know that it's worthwhile to be a Republican. So I think that's a great point. I like that a lot. Any thoughts, follow-up thoughts on that?
No, I mean, that's a really good point there, Collin. I mean, you're trying to make yourself look like a normal member of society. You're just because Lord knows nobody involved in politics is normal, Collin. But you give the appearance of a normal guy just walking on a parade route. We're active in the community, and you can be active too. Because you know what? What I realized, when I was younger, I always wanted to be on a parade. And I never really had many opportunities. I with the Boy Scouts, I could carry the flag, the color guard, but I wanted to be one of the guys on the float throwing candy, And when I got involved in politics, I got that opportunity. So sometimes you just got to give people the the idea that they too can walk in a parade and have as much fun as you're having.
I saw someone actually, they had a really cool float, and they were encouraging people to join them on the float. And by the end, they had 30 or 40 people who came out of the crowd and got on their float and participated in the parade. Like, you could even ask them, join us now, come walk with us now. If it's fun, they're going to want to be a part of it. If it's boring, they're never going to do it.
See if you can get some music going.
Yeah,
St. Patrick's Day, you can play the Irish music, the appropriate music, of course. But get some music going, God bless America, all that good stuff.
If it's the Irish, if it's the Southside Irish Parade, or if it's St. Patty's Day Parade, I mean, Dropkick Murphys is patriotic, right?
Right, or any other Irish tunes that you can think of, Colin.
That's pretty much all of it I listen to, and I drive these people crazy with my Irish punk. Okay, let's talk about, it was mentioned, cars, floats. Should you have a float of some kind, or a car of some kind? Do we see that as a positive or a negative?
I think if you can get a float for like free, I think it's a great idea. Other than that, so I've seen people rent out like hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a float. I don't really think that's necessary. Sometimes your county organization will have a float that they will lend to you. I believe the Will County Central Committee has Peanuts the Elephant. So you might be able to have somebody lend you a float from another organization. Some people use army trucks or fire trucks is my personal favorite.
Those are always popular. You get your hands on one of those old fire trucks.
Oh, yeah.
Those are hugely popular.
But usually if you're just starting out with an organization, see if you can find a guy in the organization who owns a landscaping company, deck the trailer out and with some nice signs and banners and flags and everything. Just keep it simple. And if you're a smaller organization, there's not really a big need to go out with a big float or anything like that. But if you're going with a lot of people, you can get yourself something for cheap. If you do it, I would recommend it. Just don't break the bank on a float.
You could really break the bank on a float, too. There's no way around it.
I mean, it's a fun team-building activity to decorate some sort of a float in the lead-up to the parade. So again, if you can do something where it's inexpensive, but people maybe can participate in the weeks leading up to it, decorate something, have some fun with it, there's some value to that for sure. Cars are iffy. Cars are a risk, because if you've got a gas guzzler, now you're making a political statement. It's not the time to make a political statement. So my 485 horsepower Challenger probably shouldn't bring that in a parade. And even those old school cars, they're fun, but keep in mind the Republican Party already has an impression of being old and stodgy and from the past. You bring a car from the 60s or the 40s or the whatever, yeah, it's fun, from the 80s even. It's fun, but it kind of plays in that narrative that we're old and we're way too traditional. So you want to be a little careful about that. Floats tend to be better. And if you don't have something that works, then nothing is fine. You've got parades, banners, you've got things you can wave. It's okay. You don't have to have some sort of a vehicle. Yeah. All right, that's vehicles. We've talked about giveaways. We've talked about how people should operate. What else should we be talking about when it comes to parades? What other things should we cover?
A parade is a good time to don't just do a parade. Afterwards, maybe do a meet and greet. Maybe have a fundraiser. If it's a major holiday, you're already getting all your people there. Go someplace. And if you're having a meet and greet, say, pass out cards. Hey, we're going to the pub down the street. Event. There's going to be beer, food. Come out and meet the Republican organization. Get involved. Or if it's not on the holiday itself, it's also a good opportunity to get your precinct committeemen together and then go knock on some doors, because you already got them out, you've already got them all together. Say, here's your walk sheet, go knock your precinct you haven't done in 3 months, buddy.
Yeah, not a bad idea. I mean, we've seen some great events. I was the leader of a Republican organization for a while, and we would do the parade every year, and we would end it at one of the local establishments. We'd have a big open house, big event, free beer for people who'd come, because that's how you get people to show up. And I don't think there was a year we had fewer than 100 people who came by. I mean, the mayor would come, local elected officials would come, the room would be packed, because it was right at the end of the parade, so everyone would just sort of flow into it. It was huge. We did it every year. It was a big thing, so that's a great idea.
And if you're knocking on doors afterwards, people tend to have like house parties, like garage parties the same day of a parade. So you can walk up and say, hi, you're a Republican, I'm a Republican, let's party. And then you can actually have an in with some of the people who are having, you can meet their family and talk to them about the organization. And hey, you should get involved too. It's a building experience. And it doesn't just stop the day, the second that your parade your float crosses the finish line. That's just an opportunity to do something else from there on out.
Yeah, I like that. Great idea. What about you? Any other thoughts we should cover?
As an organization, make the elected officials and candidates feel welcome. you want to grow that organization. Most parades are after primaries anyway, except for St. Patrick's Day, the example we keep using. But you want them to feel welcome. They don't need to pay the $50 or $150 for their own slot when you can all band together and be a united front that day. They can still wave their signs. They can still hand out their own tchotchkes. They can contribute their own candy. But at the end of the day, if everyone walks together and you have 50, 60 people versus 20 people or even 5, 10 people each, it's a better showing. And parades are meant to come together. Certainly, if there's a special parade that is specific to the candidate, it's their hometown, maybe they get their own slot, but otherwise, make everyone feel welcome.
Even in that situation, you can give them their own section of your group. So maybe they could be at the back or lead it. It'd still all come together. I think it's a great point. There's a county that we've worked with where they make sure everyone has their own spot, but then you end up with 5 people and 10 people and 5 people and 20 people. Maybe you just look weak. Whereas if everyone's together, it's okay if some people are waving one side and some people are waving another. It's energy, it's excitement, plus you're bringing everybody together. Now they look like they're having more fun. Bring it all together. Show that party unity, even in a primary. Let multiple candidates for the same race wave their banners. Because let's be honest, nobody's winning their election based on a parade. No one's remembering an individual name. All they're going to remember is how they felt when they saw you guys walking. Did they feel good when they saw the Republicans walking? Or did they ignore you? Did they not care? Did they feel bad? Did you guys look boring? That's the only thing they're going to walk out remembering. And so you want to make sure they're feeling happy, they feel good. You do that by coming together. So I think that's a great point, Ryan. A couple final things on my end. Dogs are great for parades. Everybody loves dogs. Abby and my dog Dustin, he's kind of a local celebrity. We bring him on some of the parades. Everybody loves him. So if you can, encourage people to bring out their dogs to walk with them because everybody loves dogs. So you look more normal, you look more personable if you're walking with a dog, because pretty much everyone's wired where if a dog likes you, then they'll like you too, so why not bring dogs along? On the other side of that, have dog treats. There's a local elected official here who's famous for this, where she'd fill her pockets with treats, and then as she goes along, instead of giving candy to the small humans, she'd give treats to the dogs, and everybody loved her for it. And so bringing dog treats is a great thing to do on a parade. What else? Any other final tips and tricks before we close?
No, I think, Ryan, you have anything? No, I'm going to buy it.
Bring dogs, it's in the same category, obviously, but bring the kids, too.
Yeah.
I mean, just like Chris said, he loves doing it. This may get them involved later in life and show them from a different perspective. I mean, sometimes we forget that your nieces and nephews and stuff can come along.
It's actually a fun thing. Like, those of us who've been involved in politics for a while, like at the beginning of this video, we kind of rolled our eyes about parades. But for most normal people, parades are fun. Most people don't get a chance to walk in parades. So you bring out those kids are going to have fun. And so now they're making everyone around them have fun. So yeah, absolutely. Bring the family, the whole family, everyone from seniors on down to kids. Actually, that reminds me of something that I'm going to close with, which is be safe. So no matter who you have, but especially if you have seniors, which let's be honest, we're talking about the Republican Party, you're going to have seniors. You want to make sure you bring a couple umbrellas if it's really sunny. Make sure you have waters of some kind, maybe even some fans to keep cool. We're talking about parades, typically in the middle of summer. They can get really hot. And I actually had somebody die in a parade because she got heat stroke and she was dead before she hit the ground. It was awful. One of the first campaigns I ever worked on, and I'll never forget it. Amazing woman, and she wasn't that old, but it reminded me that every time we do a parade, you gotta be careful. We did it all. We had Gatorade, we had water, there was nothing else we could have done. She had other things that we didn't know about, but still, it reminded me, make sure that with your parades, you're safe, you're careful, even have a first aid kit, just be prepared just in case, especially stay hydrated. Some of these parades can get really hot, and usually if you're walking down the street, there's no covering. You're gonna be in the beating sun for a couple hours. So.
And that reminds me of a really good point, Colin. When the parade's done, try and have a plan to get everybody back to the start of the parade route to get their cars. I don't know how many parades I've been in where we walk 2 miles down Main Street, we get to the end, and it's like, well, now what? How are we getting back to our cars? So be smart. Have some people maybe park on the other side of the parade route, or if you got the fire truck, you just pile everybody in on top of it or the float. Get everybody back there. Try not to make people walk the 2-3 miles back to the start of the parade route because I've done it before. It sucks. Don't make other people do it.
Yeah, and you're going to have another parade, you want them to come back. If they have that horrible of an experience, they're not coming to your next parade. So, great point. All right, these are tips and tricks to how to make the most of parade season. It is of value to your organization. You got to do it. So make sure you're getting involved in those parades, get people out, have some fun, and show that Republicans actually can be normal. Great opportunity to do that. Thanks to Ryan. Thanks to Chris. I'm Collin Corbett from Core Strategies. We hope you'll use these tricks and tips and make the most of this. We'll have more videos for you in the future.